Hello, this is Juniper with Solavi Studio, joyfully unifying nature-inspired perceptions with evolving rhythm. Welcome to my backyard. Today is Moonderful Monday, and last week on Wednesday was the full moon in Gemini. And to me, the full moon in Gemini is all about communication and community and how those can play out in your life. And there's so many different ways in which they can play out in your life. But from me personally, I set some goals for myself, for some things to consider, some things to think about during this lunar cycle. And now the moon has moved a few signs, and it is in Virgo today. The moon went into Virgo very, very early this morning and will remain in Virgo until very early on Wednesday morning. And with my goals of communication and my relationship with community, the way I like to work with the moon is seeing how the different energies within a lunation cycle affect my goals, or different perspectives I can have on my goal. And with the Virgo energy coming through, Virgo to me is, it gives you a chance to pause and to look at your goal and see if there's a way that you can more efficiently focus your energies. But the cautionary part, I guess the tricky part about Virgo energy is to overanalyze from an ego perspective. So as you work on your intention, on your goals, where you want to go in relationship to community and communication, try to pay attention to your thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts that go through my head, and some of them I can recognize come from my ego. And how I recognize their thoughts from my ego is that they're thoughts about my personal opinions, about myself and others, about judgments about myself and others, or desires, personal desires. Oh, I really want this thing to eat, or I really want to go shopping, or I really, like, that can be kind of an ego related thoughts. But the thoughts that I'm trying to focus on during this full moon, and those ego related thoughts are the side of Virgo that can be over analytical, that gets stuck in the earth energy. Virgo is a moon, or is earth sign. So with the moon being in Virgo, that kind of stuckness can happen. But if you take a moment to listen to not the thoughts of the ego, but the thoughts of your higher being, the objective thoughts, then great information can come through. So pay attention to your thoughts in the next few days as far as where they might be coming from. And I found myself over the past, I don't know, many months, I've been told to add spiritually charged items to my Etsy shop. And my Etsy shop is new, and I'm trying to build it. It's going to take a minute. But I had a big resistance to adding magically charged items to my shop. And so I've been sorting through why I'm having that resistance. And those are ego thoughts. That resistance are thoughts from my ego. So I was getting in my own way. I was creating this stagnant energy by thinking out of ego instead of thinking out of my higher self. So when I finally decided, okay, I'm going to add magically charged items, things just came together very easily. I started thinking about, well, okay, how will I charge the item? So I want to designate a space in my home that's not related to my personal sacred spaces. I want to make a separate sacred space so that my personal, what I'm going through, is not affecting items that may be going out into the world. So my intention of creating a sacred space to add intention and add good vibes, I guess, to the items I'm selling, I started thinking about what that space would be like. And I found that I had painted this wooden circle, and I was gonna add some legs to it and put some crystals under it. And then on Friday, my kids were very busy. That was the first day of no school. And my daughter had a picnic with her friends at the park, and I was supposed to pick her up at the very same time that my son was supposed to be 25 minutes north of there at a going away party for his friend who was moving to a different state. And he was going to a trampoline zone, it's called. So it's basically this giant warehouse space that's a lot of the floor is just covered with trampolines, so the kids can just jump all over and be really, really wild and bounce and do flips and all these crazy acrobatic moves that trampolines allow. So they're gonna have so much fun. But it's, like I said, it's 25, 30 minutes away from my house, depending on traffic. So we got there a little bit late due to things. And for me, it wasn't worth driving all the way back home just to be home for a few minutes and then all the way back. So my daughter and I had only one errand to run, and she's like, "Mom, let's go to Goodwill." And I said, "Oh, okay." I love Goodwill. If you don't have Goodwills in your area, it's a thrift shop, a donation-based thrift shop. The sun is moving, sorry. And you never know what you're gonna find there. So I ended up, and I love going to Goodwill because I love upcycling or reusing items that people no longer want. Sometimes they're just perfect for me. So I ended up, my very dear friend is getting married at the end of July, and my daughter was looking at the dresses, and she wanted me to, it's fun to go shopping with her. We get along really well. So I ended up finding this beautiful, hardly used dress that will be perfect to go to the wedding. And I wasn't even looking for a dress for that. And it has the Tibetan clouds with the spiral pattern in it. And the cut is super flattering for my frame. And it's gray and white, so it's very neutral color. It has an empire waist, and it's not too long and not too short. So it'll be great for an end of July outdoor wedding reception. And but before I found that dress, I was just looking around to see if there were things that I could add to that sacred space that I want to create. And I think it was last week or sometime I shared with you, whoa, that light, this painting that started out just having this, and then I changed it to having these, and then I put this kind of square shape in, and then these. So that just kind of came. I didn't sketch it out beforehand. I just kind of painted, and that's what came. And so when I was in the thrift shop, I was looking around, oh, is there anything I can use? And I didn't want to go with specific colors because I didn't know what I wanted the sacred space to look like. And I ended up, oh, it's gotten dusty, I need to wash it, but I ended up finding this cake plate, and it has that same design that my painting did. And I saw it, and it was just standing like that, and I was like, oh, what is that? So I looked, and it matches my painting perfectly. So that's, to me, that's spirit saying, okay, go for it, do it. Because they're completely unrelated, and what is the chance of finding a clear, non-colored cake plate that's a great size for putting a lot of things on? And then I started looking at the fancy wine glasses, and I found 5, so one for each of the elements, and then I'm going to put one coming in the center with the central candle for spirit. And then I'm gonna be having fun. For many years, around this time of year, I've done an indigo dye vat, which is, it's magic. And I'm hoping to do that on Wednesday, and I want to share it with you because that whole process is amazing. But I generally only do it once a year because it's a lot of prep work, and it's a lot of, getting enough material to dye together is somewhat tricky. But so I have many fun things planned for this week of summer solstice. But just things are coming together in such a way that it's because I said yes, because I disallowed myself to get in the way of saying, oh, well, I shouldn't add those items to my shop because of this and that. And I stopped the resistance, and then all of a sudden these things are just coming. And I didn't even mean to go to Goodwill. That wasn't part of the plan. That was just a spontaneous, oh yeah, let's go. Okay, that's fine. That's a good way to, eat up some time while we wait. So if you just get out of your own way and let things happen, you don't necessarily need to know. But if you let your ego take a step back and you listen to those thoughts, those objective thoughts that come to you, it's amazing what can come about. So what objective thoughts are coming to you in a way to help you create the life that you truly desire? Okay, blessings on your day.